Hey, beautiful. How are you doing today? In one of my last videos, I talked about the idea that it was time for us to stop learning and start remembering. It was about how so many of us in the spiritual and personal growth path are becoming or have become addicted to content, and how it is time for us to start listening to and trusting our own experiences and our own wisdom. How it's time for us to start connecting with who we truly are and find the answers there. And I know I keep bringing it up in a few videos saying I made this video, but I keep referring back to it because it struck a chord. It struck a chord because there obviously is a collective awareness that is rising. It's kind of a collective wariness about the chase. A lot of us, many of us, feel like there's something wrong with the way we're doing things right now. So after that video being about stop learning and start remembering, some other thoughts came to me. And it's the idea of it's time for us to stop manifesting and creating and start accessing. I had the beginning of that idea, which I was reminded of because somebody commented on that previous video that I made a couple years ago. It had the thumbnail is Spiritual and Broke, This Is Why, and the title is, I wrote it down, Why Spiritual People Are Stuck and Can't Manifest Financial Abundance. I'll put the link here and in the description below. Anyway, so somebody commented on that video, and it took me on the path of kind of fleshing out that idea that was just like the beginning of the idea that I had in this video. In that video, I had this eureka moment of why so many of us on a spiritual path don't have financial abundance. I talked about how for a long time we were taught that our job, if we wanted financial abundance, was to rid ourselves and heal the false beliefs that we have about financial abundance. And that was true 30 years ago when I started listening to that. But it no longer is. We are, as a collective, at a new stage of our evolution, and we're meant to learn something new as well. Here's what I came up with. It's that now we're being asked to access the abundance of the universe through being connected to it and not through focusing on what's blocking us from it. Instead of focusing on healing our wounded self, we are being asked to connect with the part of us that is not wounded. It's just like the remembering that I talked about in that recent video. Connecting to the part of us that is not wounded happens when we go inward and connect with our true essence. I know it's a bit of a mind bender because healing is still part of it, but there's a shift in focus that we need to make that I believe will make all the difference. The awareness of our wounded part is still important, but it's no longer the key to access the greater consciousness or to access our next step in personal or collective evolution. So like I said at the beginning, the way I'm seeing it at the moment, it's about the fact that we need to stop manifesting or trying to manifest and trying to create what we want and accessing it. Because when you think of it, creating and manifesting are kind of just another form of outward action. It's a little bit like over-consuming outside information, like I talked about, that we have to stop our addiction to seeking content outside of ourselves. You know, creating and manifesting takes effort. It takes will, it takes learning, and it's the same with making affirmations and trying to change our thoughts. All these modalities, I'm beginning to see them as kind of the blood, sweat, and tears of the spiritual world. It works, but it's going to take a lot of effort because we're trying to change something, which also means that we're thinking of something we don't have, lack, and hoping to create something we don't have and want. Because the screwy thing is that as soon as we're focused on creating what we want and changing our thoughts and making affirmations and all these practices, we are automatically thinking about what it is that we don't have. It's part of living in a world of duality. It's part of this law of polarity that we live in accordance with on this 3D planet. In this world right now, balance comes from applying equal force to both sides. It's like those, I don't know the name, but these little thing that you have all these metallic balls hanging from a thread, a metallic thread, and if you lift one and push it down, automatically the one on the other side swings the other way, and when it comes back, it swings this one the other way. That's kind of the world we live in. So when we're focusing on wanting to create something that we want, automatically, boom, there is the energy of what it is that we don't have or don't want. I think that's why listening to podcasts and taking courses and listening to master classes and reading more books is so exhausting. I think it is no longer the energy of the time that we're in. And so when we give into that, it's like we're swimming against the current. I think that's the fatigue that we're all feeling right now. That's the offness that we feel. Those modalities used to take us down the current, but we are in a new time. And right now, we're trying to use those same modalities, but something has shifted, reversed, or whatever. And now, if we try and insist on using those, we're going against the current and we're exhausted from it. So it's really nice to say we are being asked to access instead of create, but how do we do that accessing? I'm sure there's a lot to say about it, and maybe I'll talk about more ideas as they come in other videos. But my thought is that accessing happens when we focus on becoming alike. Becoming like that which we want to experience and bring into our lives. It no longer happens by taking actions or trying to make it happen. Those things equal spiritual blood, sweat, and tears. So in a very simplified way, we become alike by remembering who we are in our true essence. By going inward to that place, it naturally reconnects us to the greater because we are an aspect of it And then we're aligned, we are vibrating at the same frequency, and that is what grants us access to all that is. That's how we bring in or vibrate along with what we want to experience in our lives. I think that the next way forward in these times is going inward, which will give us access to the everything. I don't know about you, but to me, that makes me feel a lot more peace than trying to learn new ways to manifest, create, affirm, changing my thoughts, fighting the negative thoughts that exist. It resonates with me anyway. Those ideas resonate with me. They bring me more peace. What if we're at a point in our evolution when things become simpler? That's like a breath of fresh air to me. What if that's where we're at this quantum way of doing things? What if that is what this 3D to 5D shift is all about? Learning to access instead of learning to manifest and create. Because I know that for me, being human feels like it has become way too complicated. It's really nice to have awareness of things, but when everything seems to be a project and necessitate vigilance all the time, it seems to me like there's got to be a better way. And that idea of how complicated being human has become, I talk about it in a video that I really like. It is titled, What to Do When Life Gets Crazy and Overwhelming, and the thumbnail is Tired of Life's Hustle. Link there and in the description below. So those are my thoughts about this. And I really, really love, and I'd love to hear what you think, that idea that we are being asked to stop manifesting and creating and to start accessing. Like, yes, of course, now we have to practice because it's something new to do. But I think that collective fatigue that I talked about earlier, I think it's because we know that we are meant to find a new way to be human and to connect and evolve our consciousness. And I feel like this is a breadcrumb. If it's not the truth, it is certainly a breadcrumb towards where we're going. That's it for today. If you haven't subscribed and you're still watching, it means that you find something of value here and that you're enjoying. Please do subscribe. It really helps. It's super meaningful to me. It makes a huge difference with the algorithm. I'd appreciate it. So, enjoy the rest of your day, of your night, wherever you are. I love hearing in what part of the world you are. It's really fun to know where the message reaches. And so that's it. I love you. I'll see you soon.